How you guys doing? Flexinja here. In this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to play Omen on Breeze, specifically attack and defense, and I apologize for the delay on the other guides, for Bind, Haven, Split, and Icebox. I will eventually get to those, but for now we're going to be focusing on Breeze, so I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to start this off by saying I don't think Omen is the best controller for Breeze, and I think if you don't have a Viper on your team, you are definitely lacking. This map is a lot larger, and there's so many more, spots to smoke out, and Viper just does a better job at that. So starting off, I think as for smokes, it's kind of difficult to smoke correctly as Omen here, as there's so many variables of where enemies could be hiding. I would definitely recommend smoking off, the most common points here, like mid gate and maybe bridge. The reason why I would smoke these off is because once you take sight and you have control, I think a flash would get you in sight better than a smoke covering. The reason why I don't think you should smoke this too much is because people can hide up on here and pick you off. They can see right over the smoke. They can go up on this box here and pick you off that way. And as for smoking the middle and the right here, the enemies can actually lurk inside the smoke, and it kind of gives them an advantage. So if you smoke this and if you smoke this, yes, you might get sight, but they can also play around the smoke, and this just gives them so much more cover to play around the pyramids, around this box, and that's exactly why I don't like to smoke exactly on sight. If you have a Viper and you have an Omen on top of that, the Viper should be covering most of the site with their smoke, and you should be covering entrances with Omen smoke. Say if you're the only Omen on the team and you have to smoke something, I guess wasting your two smokes right here isn't a terrible play. And the reason why you have to waste your two smokes here is because if you don't use both these smokes, I'm going to go on the other side of this real quick. They can stand up on this box and they can stand up here and pick you off if you just have one smoke down. So I think it's viable to use both smokes here. If you happen to be the only smoker on your team, which is very bad for a map like this, I almost think you need Viper pretty much. Alright, so I'm going to show this concept every guide video that I make with Omen because I think this is the most important thing as a smoker. So I'm going to show you an example of a good smoke. I'm going to show you an example of a poor smoke. So this right here is a good smoke. The reason why this is a good smoke is because it almost acts as a wall. So if they push outside the smoke, the first thing you see is the enemy. And this is an example of a bad smoke. If you leave any edges around this is a terrible smoke right here. They can lurk on the sides of the smoke, they can lurk within the smoke, and it almost becomes unpredictable of what side they're going to be leaving the smoke. So I'm going to just pretty much put this in every guide. I think this is the most important thing to note as a smoker. Alright, let's say you already have sight control and the smokes that you should be focusing are maybe smoke right here and smoke up on the bridge here. The thing that I would change is maybe change your smoke right here at mid door. If they have this door open, maybe smoke that as well. It depends if this door is open or not. But this smoke right here is actually good because it acts as a one-way, so if they push this underneath, you can see their feet first. And also, they can't peek the bridge because it's completely smoked off. So another thing to note with this smoke up on the bridge is, once you have the smoke placed down, what you can do is you can actually go here in the water. You can use this barrier here to, better protect yourself from mid here. But be wary of this. If they have this door open, it might be useless as they can see you, but you can get a better angle of who's pushing spawn. As for using your blind as Omen, I think the best way to use your paranoia is to maybe blind this corner right here and also right here in the water. I think these two are the best spots. You could also blind if someone plays this box right here. I mean, you could change up your angle of where you blind, but I honestly think the pyramid blind towards the left side of the pyramid is the best way to blind. So you blind this. You blind all this corner here, and you blind this line right here. So if they're playing right here, or they're holding this angle right here, they're gonna be blind. So I think that's the best way to use your paranoia as Omen. Alright, so I'm gonna bring you guys through a little quick scenario if you do have a Viper in your team. So if you guys push A, she might have this walled off right here, to get that plant down right here, default. So if that's the case, and they have this smoked off as well, you can actually get in this corner and use your paranoia, here. So what you can do is blind this box, blind the right side of this pyramid, and anyone that's playing close up on the smoke. So this blind is actually pretty good in terms of if you have this walled off. Because if you have this walled off, you don't really have to care about this corner too much as it's smoked off completely. So that's just my 2 cents in a given scenario if you do have a Viper. So I know a lot of you guys come here for the teleport plays. You guys want to learn some new teleport tech with Omen. The thing with Breeze, it's so big that it's kind of hard to use your teleport offensively, you know, to exploit into sight. So you kind of almost have to treat yourself like a Jet would. A Jet likes to smoke in front of herself and then dash into it. So exactly what you know, Jet does, you could do as Omen as well. So, you know, typically no one's ever going to be playing here. Pretend your team flashes you out so you're just safe from peeking this angle. What you can do is teleport into the smoke here. And then you can start working around the smoke, you know, to create space and, you know, because now that you're inside the smoke, the enemy has to focus on two different directions. They have to focus on who's in the smoke, and then they have to focus on the main here. So you kind of almost act like Jet in a sense if you want to attack A with an explosive TP. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys a, you know, TP sequence, an aggressive TP sequence that might work in low elo lobbies. This only worked for me once in an Immortal game, so I don't know. It doesn't really work in high elo because a lot of people know exactly what the hell you're doing. So what you could do is once you establish your control outside here, you can smoke on top of the pyramid here, TP up on top of the pyramid, and then, you know, look at the mini-map, guide your TP on top of this platform here. And the reason why this could work in low elo is because people might be distracted with this first TP. You might be up here. People like to play this box, people like to play water, people like to play this entrance here, and people like to play around this pyramid close. So this could actually work in low elo, but it's probably not going to work in high elo 99% of the time. So another ridiculous TP sequence that could also work if your team is exploding outside, and you might have a Viper that's walling off this. You could TP on top of this pyramid with a smoke, but also throw a smoke right here against that wall in the back. You could TP up on the pyramid here, and then TP on the right side of the smoke here. The reason why this could work is someone might be playing close to the water here behind the pyramid or behind this box, and they might not know what's going on as your team explodes on the other side of them. So that could work in low elo, but for the most part it doesn't work in high elo. I'm just showing you guys this in case you guys want to fool around with Omen. Obviously, with these TP sequences, you could blind first to make it a little bit more unpredictable of where you're going. What you could do in a higher elo game is this one's worked before in the past, where I smoked this cross. I pretty much blind the box here on the left, and I just blind this little alley here, pretty much. I go into the smoke, I clear the smoke, and then I TP into this pocket. This is a pretty good TP spot as you're, you know, protected from most areas when you're done finishing your TP. Obviously, they can hear you if you didn't blind them, but you could surprise people from the box. Mid-rotate, pyramids, water, and triple. There's a lot of ways you could surprise people just TPing to this corner, because not a lot of people are just holding this. So I personally don't think that Omen ult is great for making aggressive plays on A site here, and the reason why is if you stick your ult anywhere on this site here, you're pretty much going to die off spawn, and it just doesn't work out that great. I mean, it can work, but for the most part, you're going to die off spawn. What you should be using your Omen ult here for is pinching and information gathering. What I mean by that is you can coordinate with your teammates if you like have a Jet or a Raze, someone that can close the gap really fast with their dash or double satchels. It's great for distracting the enemy and having your duelist pick up a kill. So what you could do is, you know, ult the top right of this pyramid here. It's going to distract someone long enough where your Jet and Raze could, you know, close the gap on them and get that free kill. Or you could like maybe ult back triple here, and you could just like go in a swift formation right here, cancel it, and by that swift formation you can kind of gather where the enemies are playing and relay that back to your team. And I think those are the two best ways to use the Omen ult rather than using it for an aggressive play. Obviously, this shouldn't stop you guys from using your Omen ult aggressively. You know, right off spawn, you want to use your ult. I'm going to show you guys this one for the memes because it worked for me once this map first came out. Obviously, it probably doesn't work anymore because this map's been out for a while. But I've gotten away with some silly TP plays where ultimate on top of the pyramid here, and there's people around the pyramid, just they're not looking up, and it's funny. It might work in lower elo lobbies. I'm just showing you guys for the memes. But if I'm actually being serious and I want to use my ultimate aggressively, what I would do is probably ult near the bridge right here. Obviously, someone might be playing Metal Doors Bridge or something like that. I could ult right here, and I could take this risk. I could take the risk if someone's going to jump down on me. If someone jumps down, they're not going to be super accurate. You can take that fight. What you do have is your blind. So if you do hear someone as you're ulting in, you have your blind to, you know, better work a fight. This ultimate isn't too bad because if actually someone's not around to hear it and there's, you know, two playing on site and there's no one playing in this area, you could run a flank here and help your team get onto A site by, you know, flanking the enemies. Or if the enemies are curious and they're like, where's Omen ulting, they give up their spots and your team can better push A main. So that's kind of my 2 cents on how to Omen ult aggressively. So obviously there's multiple ways to push a site. Instead of, you know, 5-manning A main every round, you can push up the hallway here and you can go through double doors down below. I think it's important as Omen to, you know, or any smoker in that matter, to have a default smoke in mind. A good default smoke and a good smoke to lurk on would probably be double door smoke right here. This smoke is pretty good because, you know, getting through double door here for the enemy team, if no one's watching it, is very problematic as it leads to a lot of lurk potential and a lot of free picks. So what you can do at the beginning of the round is smoke this off completely. So an enemy jet opper would probably like to opt that, but now she has no vision. She either has to push the smoke and maybe get a pick and then get picked off, or they have to kind of like worry about the smoke if anyone's looking up to it. And this smoke right here just it makes the enemy team, it just gives that unpredictability of what you're doing on the other side of that smoke. So I think it's important to have that smoke. So if you like throw the smoke, you could potentially lurk all the way down mid and get this area here for free. And this is important here. Say if your team is pushing A, you have this potential lurk right here. The enemy team has to retake A if your team gets on A site here. So as they're filling up A site, you're here just lurked up right here, and yeah, you become a problem, a real big problem. One of my favorite TP fakes and one of my favorite plays is Omen. Probably one of the most funniest plays you can do as Omen is using this hatch right here and using a teleport. So basically, it kind of looks like this. You go down the hatch and then you teleport as you go down, like this. This play is hilarious and it works. So you see little Jimmy running down the hall, Jet. She hears the hatch. She's like, okay, I heard hatch. I run down mid. But little did she know that you're actually just sitting here strapped up with a Vandal and you blow her brains out. And I think it's hilarious. Alright, so now I'm in middle and I want to push the double door here onto A site. I think the best way to do it as Omen is you smoke this cross here. The reason why you smoke this cross is you kind of block off top, middle, and the tunnel here from seeing you do so. What you can do is follow up this smoke with a blind to double door. The reason why this blind might be good is because anyone holding this double door angle will be blind. It forces them to either play, you know, in the corner right here or just back up entirely. Bad part about that blind is it notifies the enemies that you might be pushing that area. If the enemy team is, you know, getting a little aggressive on you and they're running flanks real fast, what you could do is that same exact play, you know, throw your smoke right here to cut off the enemy vision, and then you could blind double door to let the enemy know that you might be pushing double door. But instead of, you know, actually committing to double door, you could go TP into this corner real fast. The reason why you do this is now you can hold this smoke right here. They think that you're pushed up towards double door. Anyone that, you know, coming from top mid or, you know, tunnel, you might get a free pick that way. So it's just like a nice little counter aggressive play. Alright, transitioning over to attacking B, I actually think that Omen isn't the best for attacking B, as, you know, look at this site. There's just a lot to cover with just 2 smokes. So I always think that like a Viper is necessary here because she can wall off this completely, and it just makes your smokes a lot more useful once, you know, a Viper is walling off an entire section. I think that, you know, a Viper is super necessary, but if you don't have a Viper, what you could actually do is you can smoke this off and you can smoke maybe this off. The reason why I think these 2 smokes aren't the worst, because, you know, you block off the entire mid and you block off this initial peak on the right side, and you just have to work with the left side. And the left side, you could work it with flashes. You could, you know, Omen flash this right here and get the entire left side right here. So it kind of covers most of the areas that would be, you know, troublesome. Obviously, you have to worry about this right pocket here. Someone could already be pushed past this smoke. There's just so many variables. This map is huge, and I don't think Omen's the best for, you know, smoking off B site. So transitioning over to B site, I actually don't think Omen is the best smoker. Surprise, surprise. Look at the size of this site. It's actually just massive. So if you do have a Viper, you know, she can split the site in 2 with just a simple Viper wall, and that just makes life easier. But if you're Omen and you're the only smoker on your team, what you could do is smoke off right here, the mid tunnel here, and then you can smoke off archers. These are probably your best bets for smoking, as it covers the entrances for the site for the CT team. And it's just, although it doesn't really cover much on site, it's probably your best option as Omen to smoke these out. As for paranoia usages, I actually think, blinding this left side might be really useful. Also, if someone likes to play in this little cubby here, this little cheeky cubby, blinding this might not be bad as well. I actually prefer to blind this one more, as, this one's easy to clear. If you have someone like, Sky or like a Phoenix to flash you in, it might be easier to clear that with just a simple flash. But paranoia is better here because it wraps around and pushes this entire pillar. So that's kind of my 2 cents on how to attack B site with Omen Smoke and Paranoia. So if you guys are familiar with my Breeze videos in the past, you guys saw me do some ridiculous TP plays when Breeze first came out. I did the double TP pillar play, kind of a tongue twister there. You can teleport onto these pillars here using smokes to cover yourself, and I think this play is phenomenal for creating space. But in higher elo lobbies, forget about it. It's kind of impossible. If there's a jet on the other team, she's probably going to be camping on top of this pillar. You're going to TP right in front of her. She's going to give you a little kiss, and you're going to die. So basically how the play works is, you cover both pillars before you peek this B main here. You can teleport up on this first pillar, and you can teleport on the second pillar here, just like that. And you can maybe surprise some people as they're holding this line right here, or just this back pillar. And it kind of works out, kind of doesn't sometimes, but it's a good way to create space nonetheless for your team to push in. For a similar TP, I like to do this on pistol rounds sometimes, where I run a good old shorty and I get light armor. I like to TP up on this pillar here, and not ultimate. I like to TP up on this pillar, and someone likes to play close always with the pistol, and you can jump down and surprise them with a good old shorty. However, if they're playing on this side, you're kind of screwed. You can use your second smoke to help out yourself with the shorty, but it's a fun little tactic that I like to use to get a free kill. So I'm going to show you guys a little cheese tactic, and I don't even consider it a cheese tactic because it worked so many times in the past. It's called a close counter smoke. It's basically when you take someone's an enemy smoke and you use it to your own advantage. So pretend this is smoked off completely, right? If you push this angle, there's so many different angles, you're probably going to die. What you can do is use your smoke to extend their smoke, and you could push it with maybe like a blind. You could use it as a tunnel to get into sight. Basically, you could put down the smoke and then flash this left side here, and it just makes pushing a lot easier as you're covered completely as you push into sight, and you gain control of pillar real quick. And it just works phenomenally. Also, it works like this too. If you want to try a cheese strat with like a shorty or something, say if this is smoked off, you can actually throw a close smoke to the right here, and you could jump into the smoke like this. Maybe catch someone inside the smoke, or playing in this dumb little pocket right here. I don't know why, but it's worked a lot in the past, and it's just a nice little play to catch the enemies off guard. So as I mentioned before, you can basically pretend your jet as Omen. So that entails you can smoke and teleport into it, creating space, as Jet would smoke and then dash into it. So what that means in this scenario is if you're attacking B, instead of actually smoking this, I don't think this is a very safe smoke, as they could be playing around this pillar and close up on you. I'd actually smoke this and then teleport inside of it. This creates a lot of space for your team. This makes so the enemy has to focus on 2 points instead of just looking at main. So kind of looks like this. You smoke down that, and then you teleport into it. You can actually then work around the smoke and then, start picking off the enemy that way. And it kind of just gives your team a sense of, we got to push in here and actually just take the site. Again, disclaimer, this might work in lower elo. I don't know about higher elo, but it's worked for me one time. So basically, you can pretend your jet, you throw down your smoke right here, wait for it to bloom, teleport inside the smoke, and then teleport towards this back wall right here. The reason why this actually might work well is because no one realistically should be looking at this small wall if they're trying to watch the smoke and watch main. This can catch at least one player off. If you catch one player off, you might die after that. You might be good for only one. Who knows? But it worked for me in the past, and I thought I'd share with you guys. Also note that it might be beneficial to blind the cubby before you actually do it like this. You blind this cubby just in case there's a little snake hiding in this cubby. It might make your play a lot easier. So using your Omen ultimate, Using your Omen ultimate aggressively on B is a lot more easier, it's a lot more forgiving than A site, that's for sure. So I'm going to show you 2 examples of Omen ults that I like to do, and you basically want to smoke first and then Omen ult, especially it helps your team out as well. So the first one is a high risk, high reward Omen ult, and this one, if you pull off, you might get a lot more kills than the first one. So basically you want to just smoke off this tunnel completely and then ult behind the B wall here.
Ready.
So this one is a high risk, high reward because you don't know if they're hiding behind here. You don't know if they're just on the other side of this wall. You spawn in, you die. But this one, if you pull off, you can kill Cubby. You can kill, Pillar. It's just high risk, high reward because it's just really dangerous for you spawning in. So I'm going to show you guys the second Omen ult. I actually think this is a lot more safe. It's better, and there's a lot more you can do with it in terms of, plays to make. So what you want to do is smoke off this archway right here. You want to teleport to defender side archers like this. And key things to note when you're spawning in, obviously take a look at spawn in case someone's sitting there and just watching you spawn in. But your main focus should be on the smoke because more likely than not someone's going to be playing like towards B wall or like, it's very slim that they're going to be playing within the smoke. So that you could probably hear them as they approach the smoke, and you want to just make sure you don't get rushed through the smoke. Key things to note also is if you don't think they're pushing the smoke, you can actually just hold this and wait for someone to rotate, maybe get a free pick. Also, pretend the smoke is here and you want to make a really fast Chad power play, whatever you want to call it. Once you spawn in, you can actually just push the smoke immediately and catch people off guard either in the smoke or just like catch people off guard in sight, Cubby, wall, pillar, and help your team crunch B site and take the site for free. So who knows? There's a lot you can do with this play, and I think it's a lot better than the first option. Obviously, there's other ways to attack B other than just going through B main. I'm going to show you guys 2 ways that I would attack just going through mid. Okay, so basically you want to throw your smoke normally like you're going through B main. You basically smoke the tunnel off of your team. Then you smoke off top mid like this. Cut off enemy vision as you pass the corner around elbow. And then you follow it up with a blind that goes along the line like this. This way, anyone that's playing in this smoke or in this tunnel, they're going to be blind. So this gets you up to this smoke point. So once you're in the smoke, you can lurk through it and you can catch enemies by surprise. And, you can pinch enemies with your team as they push B main. For the second option, this option is a lot more aggressive, and this one's all about holding off enemy rotations more so than actually getting to the site for your team. This one, you're not going through this tunnel, you're actually going to nest here, and you're going to be playing, you're going to be basically cucking the enemy. So you essentially want to smoke off this side of the tunnel rather than this side. So you smoke this off, and then you want to send your blind in a path that would go towards this doorway, in case there's like a jet opper on the other team, something cringe like that. So essentially you want to blind this path. So you basically, teleport up here. You get up here, maybe someone's holding it here, and then you get a pick. Be wary, you can get flanked from mid real fast, and also someone could be playing this little spot right here, and you could be wasting your time. Obviously, Omen is high risk, high reward, and trying to do aggressive plays like this is tough. But once you establish this area, say if you get this first pick, you can then hold this area, throw you another smoke, like maybe like right here, and then you can start working it as your own territory, and the enemy team is going to hate you. So, yeah. Alright, so now switching over to the defender side as Omen, I'm going to show you guys a few one-way smokes to make the enemy team mauled, because, one-way smokes are fun, and it's unfair for the enemy. So basically, there's this one-way smoke that you can smoke off the tunnel entrance right here, throw it up and towards this iron pillar here. And you can basically just see their feet off of the first peak. This one right here is really good if the enemy team is aggressing towards A lot, and you can just use this, and it's just unfair for them. Another one-way smoke that you could actually use against this orb is you could hide in this corner right here, and you can put a one-way smoke right here before they grab the orb, or maybe after they grab, who knows. But you can use this, and you basically just see their feet for free, and it might be a free kill or two. And then you can go back here, say if, they're really aggressing, and you want to catch them off guard with another one-way, you could actually put a one-way smoke up on this little cement stack, this little stack of cement, and you could use this one-way as well. So this one-way works really well, but the only problem with this one-way is they might see you first, and I just disconnected from the game. Now we're back into the game again. I'm going to show you this third one-way one more time because there's more that you can do with it than just use it as a one-way. So essentially you can use it as a one-way. Maybe they see you, you get a pick off of it. You can actually TP up into it and then drop into the smoke after and then catch someone by surprise that way as well. So you can use it as a one-way and a TP outplay. If the enemy are getting accustomed to pushing A really fast, obviously you can do some simple smokes like this. You can smoke off the main entrance like this. Make sure it is a kind of like a wall smoke, so once they leave the smoke you can see them immediately. Don't make it a lurkable smoke because that just makes problems. And for the double doors here, you can smoke it off like this. This is a good smoke too because once they push past the double door, you can see them immediately and they're not going to be able to lurk inside of it. So if you're trying to spice things up at A and you want to get a little aggressive here, your best bet is to actually just throw a random smoke, pretty much just like right here. You blind this entire corridor at shop and then you teleport towards your smoke. This way you get past this doorway, they're blind, they don't really hear it, and you're up against the smoke here and you can play around it. That's probably your best way to play aggressive here. There's not too much going on here. Defending A site as Omen isn't too bad as you can just change up your position as much times as you want basically. Obviously they might have a Sova on the enemy team who's not, might recon back here. You break the recon, you get scanned. You could TP behind this box or behind this pyramid. Basically you can just keep holding off angles like this. You know, there's a lot of room to play with as Omen on A site as there's a lot of options to do for repositioning. And on top of repositioning you have your smokes to work with too, so you can also, you know, lurk through your smokes as well. Using this one way one more time, you can actually use this one way to your advantage, just standing up here. So basically they can't see your feet but you can see them as they approach here, and what you can do is you can actually bait going to the left and then TP to the right. So basically it look like this, you get one pick here and then you go like that. Maybe they see you cut to the left but you're right here and boom, you can use that same one way again to pick off more people. So it's going to look like this. This play is a little bit more risky as it requires your team to watch, A main right here, over here. So what you can do is go on top of this pyramid here and actually you can throw a one-way smoke here up in the middle hallway. So this smoke actually works as two things. It works as a one-way and it blocks off mid if they decide to try to push mid. So you can throw that smoke right here and it's going to fall down, and basically what happens is you can see them first before they can see you as they push the double door. And it's just overall not a bad play, depending if you have a teammate watching this. So remember that close counter smoke play that I mentioned before, that it's a little cheese tactic, to get under the enemy's skin? What you can do is say if the enemy Omen smokes this or something like that, you can throw a close counter smoke right here, and then you can start working within the smoke, because most likely they're going to be planting within this area. So you can actually be playing close up to them, and you can catch them by surprise through that. So essentially, if they're going to plant right here or like right here, you're gonna probably catch them by surprise. Say if the enemy team has the audacity to push down the middle hall here and open this door, what you can do if you're on site, you can actually turn this door into a one-way and make them regret opening it. You can actually just smoke on top of this. This is pretty simple and you don't have to think about it too much, and you just turn that door into a one-way. Say if you want to go on the aggressive and you want to run some flanks and you want to go down mid here, your best bet is actually just to smoke this off and then get into this push this doorway and cut to the left right away before they see you, and then start working your way up. Or even better is if they actually push it aggressively and you know that they're going to push this smoke aggressively, you can actually smoke it off at the beginning of the round like this and then teleport into this cubby. That way, if they actually did push the smoke, they don't see you cross and you can catch them by surprise. If you want to hold double door more aggressively, this is actually not a bad play here. So what essentially you want to do is, as soon as the round starts and the barriers lift, you can actually start blinding this. You can blind this little path right here. You can wait a second and then teleport to the middle here, and then you can start holding these middle angles right here, and it actually works better if you have someone your team just holding like this right angle here, so it kind of lessens up what you have to hold. So that just gives you a lot of just mid pressure against the enemy, and then after that you can start thinking about running big flanks, going through bottom mid, through flank B, flank A, and it just gives you a lot more map control. An alternative to hold mid doing that same exact flash is, you flash them off spawn. So once the spawn gate lifts, you flash, wait a second, and you can actually teleport up here. this is not too bad of a spot because you can just watch them as they cross mid, or if better yet, if they're not in mid, you can actually watch them if they come out towards elbow here at an off angle. Here's a little cheeky one-way play that I like to do, you know, if I'm holding mid more aggressively. So what you can do is, as soon as the round starts, you want to make a one-way off this box here, and then you can teleport into this little corner here before it actually blooms. And this way, you get into this little pocket, and you can use the one-way to your advantage, is basically as soon as the round starts. If you're trying to play a different angle up top mid here using another one-way, essentially you can just make a one-way off the left boxes here, and you can play on the right side of top mid right here. So this is also pretty damn good. So if they're pushing up elbow here and you want to hold them off, you can actually just one-way up on top of this box here, and it actually serves for a really good one-way to stop this push. If you're really trying to annoy people with one-ways, you can actually send one deeper into elbow here. This one works pretty well because you can follow it up with a blind, and you can just basically just cuck the enemies. So essentially, what it looks like is you just smoke off the elbow corner like this. You just run down mid, and you can blind this entire hallway, and then it just kind of looks like this. So anyone that's pushed up, you cuck them, and then you can just go back to using this one way, and it works out pretty well. Alright, so now we're on the home stretch. We're defending B site as Omen, and if you made it this far, all I ask is you like the video, as I put a lot of time into making these guides. So essentially what you want to do is, we can start off with a very simple smoke, obviously. Same concept applies, make it into a wall. So this is an example of a good smoke, because once they push past the smoke, you can see them instantly. They can't lurk inside of it. So with that said, we're going to focus on one-way smokes holding this doorway here, this big arch, this mighty fine arch. So what you can do is make a one-way holding this corner right here. You can actually play it from on top of the pillar, and you can also play it from right here. This isn't too bad because you see them first, as they can't see you. And on top of the pillar, this is what it looks like as well. So you can kind of, this one works definitely a little bit less than the first one on the ground, but from a higher point of view, from being up so high and feeling so good, you definitely catch them off guard. So there's two type of close one-ways that you could actually use from the ground level if you're holding either the left or right side of the main door here. You could actually use this one, which I actually don't prefer as much as the other option. This one is actually not too bad, but the thing is about this one, they're closer to you, so once they could flash you out of this, they could push you, and you could die. The better option, in my opinion, is to play a more open angle here and make a one-way on the very opposite side. This one-way is actually a lot better. It gives you a lot more breathing room as you're not closer to this angle here, and this one just works a hell of a lot better. So I'd definitely go with this one for holding the site. So we're going to use the same exact one-way as shown before. You're going to one-way this one, and you can actually teleport on this wall and use that one-way. This is actually going to catch them by surprise even more because you're on an elevation, you're further back, and yeah, they're not going to expect you to be up here. I've gotten at least one free pick. As long as you don't get blinded or Viper walled out, that you're actually good for one. Here's a little cheeky play that I got away with, and I got I got 3 kills real fast. This is a very, very cheeky play. I like to show a cheeky play just in case you guys want to try it out yourself. You can actually make a one-way on this pillar here as they push in sight. Say if they're a team that likes to explode into a site ferociously, you can actually just sit inside your smoke here and then wait for them to fill up sight. They're probably not going to check this, and you could probably catch some people off guard. It's a very, very cheeky play, and yeah, it probably won't work most of the time. Obviously, if they're running it down mid and they look to go B, this is probably your best smoke, just to simply just smoke this off. But you can actually make a one-way right here at the corner. Surprise, surprise, just more one-ways. This one-way is okay, but the thing is, this one-way, you can actually see them first using this. But the thing is, you're so exposed from behind that it's actually just not worth using. You can use it from a different angle like this, but the thing with this angle is, they can see, if they go to this back wall, this red here, they can see you just as much too. So it's good, but it's bad. So I just go with the simple smoke of just smoking it off for the sake of smoking it off, and then just working around actually holding main with your team. If you're looking to spice things up a little bit and get aggressive at B main and you want to push, your best bet is to actually just flash this immediately and then push into it. This works similar to like the breach Jett meta. Maybe if you have a teammate Jett that wants to get a little aggressive with you, you flash it and Jett pushes with you. So your flash actually works phenomenally here. You can flash this entire staircase and then you just like swing into them right now. The thing is, they could be playing close up on you. Your Omen, your flash doesn't exactly blind them if they're close enough to you. So you have to be kind of cautious with your play. But this actually works really, really well. Another play that might and might not work is if you actually just smoke right here at the very start of spawn. And then you blind the window peak here so that anyone from window can't see you right off the rip. You blind that and then you can teleport out here. This actually works pretty decent, so window will be blind, and then you could probably teleport behind an enemy or two. This might work in low elo. I've gotten away with it in higher elo games. It also works if you have a teammate that's willing to push with you through your own smoke. So, yeah. So an alternative to the previous play that actually might work better, and you don't need a teammate at all, is you can actually smoke off main here, blind corridor right here, the staircase. Immediately as the smoke is blooming, so you have to go real fast with this, and then you can teleport behind this box right here. Make sure you teleport behind the box, not to the left of the box, not right here, not on top of the box, because window can spot you. So once you're behind this box, window might hear you teleport behind this box, but you'll be in a good enough position where you could actually catch one or two. Before I end the video, I'm going to show you why Omen is underrated with the op, especially in a defensive setting, using his abilities. I'm going to show you a scenario real quick. So, Omen can teleport up on this pillar and take the high ground immediately, just using his teleport. He can then, as the round starts, you can make a one-way smoke right here at the corner here. Takes out the operator and he can hold this window. Maybe he's good for one pick. He can then fall to the right here of the pillar, uses one way, maybe he's good for two. He can then fall off the pillar like that, and then uses one way again, maybe he's good for three. So essentially, with the way that he can make one ways and teleport, he's good at repositioning and catching people off guard. On top of that, obviously, Jett can do the same thing, but Jett can't make as defined one ways as Omen, and I think that's why Omen is a pretty good defensive op. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys actually learned something, like the video. I put a lot of time into these guides, as I spent hours and hours perfecting what I have to say, and you know, just thinking of new ways to play Omen as I make these guides. So, appreciate you guys. I'm gonna get to the other guides soon. Hope you guys enjoy. Subscribe if you want to see those guides as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and peace.